Hello there, welcome everybody. It's Don here once more with another easy little magic trick for you to have a go at making for yourself. I'll explain all you need to know a little later. In the meantime, we have this gimmick, and in the top we've got two very thin slots at the top there. And these two cards will slot into them. So we've got two thin cards, each with 4 holes in them. And if we put the first card in the first slot, like that, that's quite tight in there. And then the other card behind in the second slot. So we've got both cards in the gimmick like so. And then, no expense spared on this channel, we take an ordinary shoelace and then thread that into the first hole, and we can see that's going right through both cards. Okay, then we thread that back through the second hole like that, and then if we pull that, and then if we're lucky, we can push that through the third hole like that. And then this will come through like so. So we've got the shoelace threaded through both cards like so. So then if we click our fingers, we can take the back card out, and there is no threaded shoelace on the back card, but only on the front card. There we go. I think that's quite amazing. And I did it. So what we'll do is get on with the video then, show you what to do, how to do it. In the meantime, if you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel. Yeah, okay, let's get on with it. We'll see what we have to do. So what we're going to need first of all are 3 pieces of card. I've made mine from 2.4mm thick card, but you could use thinner. It doesn't really matter. And I've made mine just under 5 inches or 12.5 centimeters by 3 5/8 by 9.5 centimeters. And then in the middle, cut out 2 3/4 diameter hole, which is 7 centimeters. So you need something that looks like that, and we need 3 of them. Okay, so we're going to stick those in a moment. And then for some thinner card, now we need center line and then cut 4 holes. So it depends how big your string or rope or cord is. It needs to be able to go through that hole and come back again in through the same hole. So that's the size of hole that you need. I've made mine 5/16, I think. Yeah, just over, 5/16 square. You could drill a hole, but I just think it's easier to cut squares into cardboard, especially this thin stuff. And it needs to be two the same. Two the same, but it needs to be offset, and it needs to be offset by the distance between those 2 squares. So if these are 5/16 and then a 5/16 gap and then another 5/16, then the distance between the centers of those 2 holes, or those two, will be 3/4 of an inch, or 18 millimeters. And that's the amount that you need to offset it by, because when you put the card behind like that, no, that way round, we're going to move this back card to the other side of this card. So it's going to move from there to there, and it needs to, if they're together like that, and we need to move it so that they line up, the holes line up like that, and that distance is the distance between those two centres, which is 3/4 of an inch. Okay, easy. Okay, so what I need to do then is glue these together so that these two cards will slip into the two compartments. And rather than do it like that, with that on there and then that on there, I think it's going to be better if you use a piece of waste card and put that there, and then the next one, and then another piece of waste card and that then there. So you've got the sandwich of the three pieces, and then PVA glue that all around the edges like that. Well, not in the top, you don't want one in the top. So it's going to look like that. And I'll use PVA glue rather than hot melt glue, because you don't want any excess of glue on the inside. These cards need to slip in quite nicely and easily. So PVA glue will eliminate that problem. So that's what we're after, like that. And then I'll take these pieces out, and then these cards should slip in. Okay, but as clear as mud. Okay, so I will stick it all together, and then maybe we'll have a better idea of what you need to do. So if I stick it all up and then come back, and we'll see what to do next. So I glued those three pieces of card together, so you can see the two sections, the two slots in the top there. I just finished it up. I sprayed it black and then put some of this pretty paper on, but it's basically just those three pieces, and then glued those other three pieces on the sides like that. I've made a couple of alterations in that when this first card goes in, this doesn't need to move. The front card doesn't need to move. In fact, we need to show that it doesn't move. So if that goes in the first slot, like that, if I can get it in, that goes in the first slot, and you can show the audience that that doesn't move. So what I've done is that excess of 3/4 of an inch, I put a piece in that long all the way down on the inside, so that now is sitting up against that piece inside there. Okay, the other piece, I've only put a piece about 6 millimeters deep like that in the top, and then cut a little piece off the top, or the same width, 6 millimeters, so that when that goes in the back slot and goes down, it goes, when I slide this to one side, it goes beneath that small piece that I've stuck in. So it does that. And what you want is the front piece like that. That's it. And for the holes to line up, and then with your nail in one of the holes, it needs to slide from side to side. If I can get it, I'll do it slowly. I don't know if you can see there. That's a better view, like that. That's what we need to achieve, like that. Okay, so once we've got that, then, well, that's it, that's finished. We can show the trick. It does take a little bit of dexterity. Another thing I've changed is I've made the holes a little bit small. Well, I cut two more cards, and I cut the holes a little bit smaller, and I'm just going to use a shoelace. The cord that I had before was a bit too big, a bit too thick. So you can show the two cards having been put into the gimmick like that, and push the shoelace through the first hole, and you can show that both sides going through the hole. So when you put the shoelace through the next hole, you just slide that along and then push that through that hole and give it a pull. So what you've done is, on the back card, you've pushed this through and then you've taken it back out again straight away. But it doesn't look like that from the front. Okay, so then for the third pass, take that back again, move that back and pass that through there. And then all you're doing is moving it back again, like that, and then pushing that through what looks, well, it is the fourth hole, like that. Okay, so that's what you've got, and that means that if you push that back and this up, this will come out, this card will come out, and people will wonder how that is possible to be done. Okay, so that's the trick. Like I say, it does take a little time to be a little dexterous with how to perform the trick. Putting the string or shoelace through the holes and then getting it back through the other holes and moving this from one side to the other. But that's up to you. All I do is make these things. It's up to you to perform them. But that's the basics then of the trick. So I'm going to leave it there. I think it's worth making. It's easy to make. It's just 3 pieces of thick card and 2 pieces of thinner card, that's all. Okay, so I'll leave it with you. Thank you very much for watching this video. I do appreciate your watching. I do appreciate it even more if you subscribe to the channel, which costs you no money and benefits myself and yourself, because you get to know when new videos come along. So please subscribe, keep watching the videos, and until next time, I will say farewell.